All right, so yesterday we got this post from the official Leo Finance account. Leveling the playing field. Leo is switching to a linear curation curve. It's surprisingly hard to say. And check out this post. It's worth a read. Um, but here's the crux of the whole thing. And Roland Thomas asked me to do a video here just to kind of explain the changes and the differences and everything. So under the old system, there was an incentive in curation for people who voted really, really quickly. And the way the incentive worked was that um, basically, if you were an early voter on a particular post that became popular, then part of the curation rewards from later voters went to the earlier voters. So if you so basically the idea was, and this is the same on Hive and most other tribes. The idea is that the people who vote things earlier are the ones who are discovering the content, and by rewarding them with the curation rewards of later voters, you are incentivizing that discovery of content that will then be voted higher in the future. So that's the theory, and basically it has never worked. So 4 years or 3.5 years with Steam, and then more with Hive, and then on with Leo Finance. What ended up happening was that there would be optimization games that were run, and the specifics differ depending on which platform you're talking about. But basically, the the authors that were already popular were gamed to increase curation. So if you knew an author was going to have high votes, then you would just try to make sure that you are maybe the first, maybe a particular time, again depending on which platform you're talking about. But you were an early voter on that person so that you could run in front of or front run the later large votes. From whether it be bot accounts or voting rings or whatever. So that's how that whole thing worked. So the change here is that we're going from a curved curation that tweaks how much each curator gets to a linear curation, meaning that if you have a 10 Leo vote, then 5 goes to the author, 5 goes to you. Doesn't matter when you vote. Could be after 30 seconds, could be after 5 days. The window is open for 7 days, and if you're in that window, you get half your vote back as curation rewards. So the whole idea here is that we are eliminating the game theory aspect of it, trying to compete against other curators. Because as we've seen, what ends up happening is votes just collect to a few, you know, reliably popular authors. So as far as what I expect to happen is that the the authors who are already popular will remain popular. They might not get quite as many votes as they got before, but the other authors, there will be a much wider distribution of votes, and I think that's a good thing for the platform. So I think this benefits everybody in two ways. So one, manual voting is not penalized because the only people who were winning under the old system were the people who were running bots and algorithms to really optimize those votes, and they were taking rewards from those people who were actually reading stuff and voting things they thought that were good. So so the people who are voting manually are no longer penalized, which is a good thing for long-term user experience, user retention, and then those people will be more interested in the Leo token over time. It's not an instant kind of thing, but so it's good for that. And I also think the fact that authors will have a better chance of receiving rewards is good for content producers on Leo Finance. So I think it benefits both ways. The people who are negatively affected are people who are already getting the auto votes. They might get a little less. So like I get auto votes on my posts, and I might get a little less. In fact, Cal and Roland have a bet now that that my post rewards will actually go up in US dollar terms, not necessarily in Leo terms. So, so it's kind of weird to have a bet about you that you're not involved in, but you know, is what it is, I guess. Um, so, so yeah, so the people who were not getting votes now have a better shot because you know on a at least on a marginal basis, you know, there are more people out there who will be, you know, looking at content and voting for it because they now know that they're not penalized. And then the other people who are negatively affected are the people who were counting on those follow-up votes and gaining those curation rewards. They will now be earning less, and I think that's okay. I'm not sure how much value they're really adding to the platform. And you know, I've done it myself, so I mean, it's going to affect, you know, some of my Leo curation, and that's okay. Um, so overall, I think this is a very good change for the Leo ecosystem. Now, there are people who are concerned, saying, well, you know, if there's no disincentive to vote early, then that means people could upvote themselves, you know, right before the voting window ends, and play all those games. And like, yeah, okay, true, but you know, they could do that anyway. So I'm not so concerned about you know, that so-called abuse. So you know, if they have financially related content, then you're welcome to it. If they are posting things that are not financial related, and you know, on Leo that constitutes spam, then that's a different issue, and they should be addressed, you know, for that. And they do. You know, people on the Discord, they post. Or they share posts that they think are off topic with the tag abuse or the report tag abuse channel, and you know, you know, Cal and others take a look at it, and you know, either, you know, remove their Lear rewards, or you know, if it's a repeat offender, you know, they end up muting them, and, you know, that's okay too. So um, overall, I'm very happy with this change, and I think over the long term, this will uh, be much better for users on all sides, and result in a higher token price than would otherwise be. So anyway, hope that clears it up. And if you guys have any questions, just, you know, comment, share, retweet, all that jazz. We'll talk to you next time.